Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss another very interesting problem, which is going to be expression. It is a brute force maths problem. It is currently 1,000 rated on Codeforces. So let's try to read the problem and gather as many intel as possible. So let's read it first. Petya studies in a school and he adores maths. His class has been studying arithmetic expressions on the last class. The teacher wrote three positive integers A, B, C on the blackboard. The task was to insert signs of operations, positive and multiplication. The star signs means multiplication, and probably brackets between the numbers so that the value of the resulting expression is as large as possible. Okay, and there is an example given over here. After that, note that you can insert operation signs only between AB and BC, that is, you cannot swap the integers. This is something to be noted. We are not allowed to swap the integers. It means we cannot sort it. And for instance, in the given sample, you cannot get expression. Okay. And the time per test case is 1 second, and the memory limit is 256 MB. So let's talk about the time complexity. The time complexity given in this problem is 1 second, and we know that in 1 second we are allowed 1 into 10 raised to power 8 operations. Okay, so this is going to be our time complexity. Same as that. So we have to use two operations, plus and multiplication. Will be given three integers. Let's see. We will be given three integers A, B, C, and we have to use two operations. Okay, which is positive and multiplication. This is what we have to do, and by using this we have to arrange A, B, C in such a manner that while using these two operations we have to get the maximum output. It means maximum number possible. Using these two operations and these three numbers we have to perform. Okay, so let's see the first test case. Uh, so in the first test case we are given 1, 2, 3, and let's talk about the input first. Actually, the input contains three integers A, B, and C, each on a single line. The range of ABC will be 1 to 10. Okay, print the maximum value of the expression that you can obtain. Fine. So as an input, you will be given just ABC, whose values varies from 1 to 10. A, B, and C is almost equal to 10. Okay, it cannot exceed the value of 10. It's fine. So let's look at the first test case. For the first test case, we have given A is equal to 1, A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, and C is equal to 3. So there are four possible things that we can do. We have two operations to perform and we have three numbers given. Okay, so this is the first test case. There are four possible things, four possible manners in which we can put these three together. First one will be we can either put A plus under bracket A plus B plus C, either we add all three, or second case either we can A plus B we can add A and B and multiply C to it, or we can add we can multiply A into the summation of B plus C, or the fourth case, we can multiply all three together. These are the four cases we can do or we can perform using these two operations and these three numbers. So let's see what values we are getting for all the three cases. So in we have for all the values we have to check all four cases. We can get a maximum value in any of the four cases. Okay, so for the first value for the first case, let's see the first one. For the first one, we'll be getting uh, for the first we'll get 3 plus 3, answer will be 6. For the second, answer will be 2 plus 1, 3 into 3, which will be 9. For the third one, answer will be 1 in since it was written in the question that we cannot swap the numbers, it is written here. You cannot swap the integers, so we have to do what we are given. We have to follow the order. So for the third, we'll get 1 into b plus 3, which will be 5. And for the fourth one, we'll get 3 to 6. So for the first test case, we are getting the maximum value, uh, which is 9 for this one, a plus b for the second case that we have created. Let's check the answer. Yeah, it is 9. It is also mentioned here that the first two numbers will be added and 3 will be multiplied to it. That's when we'll get 9 to it. So this is the logic behind this, and let's take one more test case. Let's take a random test case. Let's say our a is equal to 5, b is equal to 7, and c is equal to 8. Okay, so get let's get the answers for this test case. For this test case, we'll get the answer. Let's say for the first one, which is the addition of all the numbers, we'll get let's take out the calculator. It will be save our time. For the first, we're getting 20. Okay, and for the second one, we are getting take it 12 into 8 will be, which will be 96. Here it will be 96, and here for the third one, it will be 5 into 5 into 15. 5 into 15 should be 75. 75, and for the last test case, which will be the multiplication of all the three numbers, it will give 280. So for this test case, the maximum value we are getting at 280 at the fourth test case, which is by multiplying all the three numbers. We can get a value for this test case. Let's say that we have three values. A is equal to 1. Since A, B, C ranges from 1 to 10, B will be 1 and C will also be equal to 1. So for this test case, the maximum value which we will get is 3, and by adding all the three numbers, uh, we will get 3 by adding all the three numbers. So what we are going to do is that we'll check all three test cases, all these four test cases, and check on which one we are getting the maximum value at. Let's say I'll first initialize variable called answer. I'll use this one. I'll use the first case in it and put a maximum value of it, and then I'll compare this case and this case and take the maximum value of both the cases. Then I'll move on to the third case and I'll compare the second and third case and take out the maximum value of it. And lastly, I'll compare the third case and the fourth case, and I will take out the maximum value of it. And the last case and the last maximum value I will be getting will be my answer. So this is the logic for this problem. It is pretty easy, not too much hard. Let's look at the code that I have written. So here is the code. So the input was given in this format. So I've taken three variables a, b, c, which will be the input. A, B, C, I'll mention it here. A, B, C is upmost equal to 10. The range is from 1 to 10. Then I've initialized a variable named answer, and I've taken the first case, which is the addition of all the three numbers. Then at here, the value of answer is the value of this addition. So I'm comparing this addition, this value, with the next case, which is this one. And similarly, at here, the value of answer will be the maximum value out of these two, out of the first and second case. And in the third case, I'll be comparing the maximum value of those two to the third one. And moving on next, I'll be comparing the value of all these three cases as compared to the fourth value, and I'll be taking the maximum, which because in the question it is mentioned, we want to print the maximum value that we can get by using these operations. So I'll be getting the maximum value out of these four, and I'll be printing answer. So let's run this code and check if our code is correct or not. Let's see. So let's take the first test case, which was 1, 2, 3. We are getting 9, and that's what we got here also. For the first test case, we are getting 9 as the maximum value. Let's check the test case that we made ourselves. Let's check 5, 7, 8. We are getting 280, which is absolutely correct. So let's try to submit this problem. Problem 479A. Let's see if it gets selected. In the first two trials, I did some mistakes. I'll point it out right now. What I had done. Let's see. So, if you read the problem carefully, it was written that you cannot swap the integers. I did not read that, and that's why in this one, I first thought that let's swap the numbers. Because after swapping we'll get only three cases. We'll have to compare out of only three cases. This one, and this one. One case will be eliminated because we have already swapped. So if we put this C with B with C or A with B, the answer should be the same. But I was getting wrong answer at test 8 because the question itself mentioned that we do not have to swap the integers. You are not allowed. Let's see if our solution is selected. It is still running. So let's talk about the complexity of this problem. So for this problem, we have the time complexity will be, it is a constant because we are not using any iterations. So the time complexity for this problem is actually a constant. I'll mention it here. city, it will be big O of 1. We are not using any iteration, so the time complexity is constant here. And let's see, it is still running. Yeah, it got accepted. So that was all in this problem. It's pretty easy to be honest. So thank you. That's all for today.